And so the question we were asking ourselves, and which indirectly I want to try to answer today, is how could we take a problem of this type and really develop the kind of quantitative reasoning around the biochemistry of these cell death agents that could eventually be therapeutically applied. And I'll come back at the very end of my talk to a specific way we're going to try to accomplish this. So I wanted to first tell you a little bit more about the apoptosis of these agents, and as you're going to see, most of the data I'm going to show you today relates to single cells growing in culture, large tumor cells, primary cells. I want to then spend a little time thinking about the underlying sort of quantitative reasoning that we apply to biochemical processes. And this is really the development of an approach to modeling them mathematically, and I'll tell you a little bit about the strengths and limitations. And then we'll talk a little bit about a couple of the things that you observe in those contexts, and can this quantitative reasoning help us think about how it is you actually go from life to death without spending a lot of time in the middle. Thinking about a lot of cell-to-cell variability, and I'll show you an example that's not genetically encoded, and then ultimately thinking about how it is we can begin to make sort of information about biochemical processes accretive, even when they involve radically different sorts of biology and different cell types. So sort of to go back first to the little simple picture that I showed you before, here we're looking at the trail molecule binding to its receptor. It then causes the formation of a large intracellular signaling complex made up of a very large number of interesting proteins that I'm not going to tell you about today. That then activates a critical set of initiator caspases, 8 and 10. Those act directly on caspases 3 and 7. And those then directly leave the cell, so that after the typical cell is exposed to trail, it will die on the order of 10 hours. Now, in all cell types, so-called type 2 cells, it's critical that the mitochondria be engaged in this cell death mechanism. So it's really restricted to a subset of immune cells I'll mention later that they can die by direct receptor pathway. And in most of these other cells, what happens is that the initiator caspase a molecule like BID, which goes on and then leads to the translocation into the mitochondrial outer envelope of a Bax-like protein, which is locally antagonized by BCL2, and that antagonism holds the system in check until BCL2 can exceed Bax, and that then results in a critical process known as mitochondrial outer membrane permeabilization, whereby a series of molecules that normally resident in the mitochondria flow into the cytosol, and that also Now, when we first started to study this in cell types, and now very recently in the mouse, we thought it would be interesting to take sort of prototypical, relatively sensitive cells and instrument them in a way so that we could actually look at the dynamics of this at multiple points in the mouse. And we wanted to do that on a single cell basis for reasons that I hope become clear. So what we had to do was to take the kinds of biosensors that we've all read about from Roger Chen and really do a lot more design on them to get some of the activity. One of the things one discovers about biosensors is you use them and then these selectivity is one of the fundamental challenges. So we designed one that would measure upstream of the process and downstream, both effective and initiators. We also were able to measure that off reaction itself, the protein that can be translated from the mitochondria into the cytosol. And then we have the opportunity to come in with system-wide RNAi on a process like this, as well as the therapeutic molecules that are now being designed to treat patients, usually in a tumor setting. I mentioned before, trail and antagonist antibodies, as well as a very important class of molecules which directly antagonize BCL2 family members, of which the prototypical example developed by Abbott is GEDC6702. Now, it turns out there's a lot more complexity to this biology that I'm going to be able to get to today, and I will allude to it a little bit, tell you a little bit how we deal with it. And the specific thing I want to mention for those of you who know this is that, in fact, this Bax BCL2 family of proteins is between 25 and 30 family members, and new members are actually coming along very recently, and those now coordinately regulate this mitochondrial outer membrane permeabilization reaction. And I'm going to